Homelessness is a situation that nobody plans for and nobody thinks is going to happen to them. The shelter operation was started in the winter of 1981 as a ministry of Simpson United Methodist Church. That was one of 16 congregations that winter that opened up the doors to begin homeless shelter operations when we saw a dramatic increase in the number of people experiencing homelessness in Minneapolis that year. Our mission is to house, support, and advocate for people who are experiencing homelessness. So our shelter operation is one of the three major program areas that we have. And so here at Shelter, obviously we are happy to be able to put a roof over the heads to provide a safe place to stay for 66 people each night, 44 men and 22 women. And we also provide meal service every evening and some mornings.
I think that folks that come here for the first time have ideas about homelessness and people who are homeless. They have ideas about shelter, and when you come here and you have an opportunity to meet the people and interact with them, you learn that your misconceptions are often wrong, that the people are far more complex than a simple stereotype, and you learn that they're really just human beings like the rest of us, trying to get through life in difficult circumstances.
We have about somewhere in the neighborhood of 14,000 people in the state of Minnesota who are without proper accommodations on any given night at this point in time, and that number has been continuing to grow slightly over the course of the last several years, despite our efforts to do quite a bit more in terms of getting more people into supportive housing and into better situations. We frankly have not been able to keep up with the economic pressure that's been going on with lack of affordable housing and lack of living wage jobs. The rental market is extremely tight in Minnesota, in Minneapolis in particular. So the only place that it's harder to get an apartment in terms of vacancy rates is Manhattan than Minneapolis right now. For the men's beds, on Monday night we conduct a lottery, and lottery is, I'm not sure that it's a fair way to distribute a limited resource when there's more people wanting the resource than you have on hand. The worst case scenarios on lottery nights is where we may have as many as 100 people on the men's lottery on a Monday night looking for a bed, and we've only got 10 available through the lottery. So on those nights we've got 90 people walking away from here without a shelter bed. We distribute the available beds at Simpson, at St. Stephen's, and at Our Savior's shelters. And if you are fortunate to have your name drawn to get a lottery bed on Monday nights, then that bed is good for 28 days. There's the possibility to be able to continue that stay for a longer period of time if you participate in our savings program. So for our shelter guests, at any given time, about a third of our shelter guests are working. So if we've got guests who are working or who have another source of income, if they're willing to put aside some money to save towards a damage deposit, then we'll allow them to stay with us longer while they accrue the necessary funds to secure that damage deposit amount. For a number of years, we operated women's shelter at CES, Community Emergency Services, and a few years ago there was some zoning problems because of the type of permit that was had at that location, and so we were forced to have to move the women's shelter. And thankfully the neighborhood here in Whittier and Simpson United Methodist Church were able to work with us and allow us to lease some more space here in this building and to move those 22 beds of women's shelter here to the church. It's a critical resource in the community. There's only 2 other organizations in town that provide beds for women who are experiencing homelessness, so it's an absolutely critical resource. So we were happy to be able to continue that service here at Simpson United Methodist. For a lot of us, the only difference between winding up here and remaining in housing really has to do with a family safety net. If we've got families with means that are able to help us out or to take us in when things go awry, then it might be the saving grace from having to wind up sleeping outside or winding up in a shelter. But the fact of the matter is that the people who are experiencing homelessness are no different than any of us, and the issues that we all face are very much the same.